Hey guys, welcome back. So our next lesson we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to lift a vehicle properly or jack a vehicle, okay? Now, you might have to do this for all different kinds of reasons. It might have to be that you're working on the car, like changing the oil, but most likely you're going to be changing a spare tire at some point in your life, okay? Driving down the road, you're going to hit a nail, you're going to have a flat tire at some point, okay? So this is a really helpful skill to know how to do, okay? Now, before going to do this, make sure you talk with mom and dad. This is definitely a skill that you can go outside and practice now, okay? I highly encourage you to practice before you have to do it. So let's go over what you should have, okay? First and foremost, in every vehicle, you should have at least something like this, okay? This is a jack called a scissor jack, okay? When I turn this thing right here, it causes it to go up or down based on which direction I turn it. Now, if you were to do that by hand, it's going to be great until you hit the actual car, and then you're not going to be able to turn this. So they included this. This inserts like so, and we're going to turn it, okay? Now, some of you might, on your car, it might be incorporated actually into the lug wrench, okay? So be on the lookout for that. Even if you have to, you can use the lug wrench. There's different types of lug wrenches, and it'll probably incorporate with your jack, okay? Mine just happened to come with this nice little handle, okay? So that's your very basic style of jack. You should at least have that in your car. If you're at home and you like working on your car, or if you just not like having to use those scissor jacks, this is a nicer style jack. This is called a floor jack, okay? Floor jacks are made for a bunch of different vehicles, but they are built by weight class, I guess is how you would put it. I can't think of the words right now. But this is a 2.5 ton floor jack. So 2.5 tons, this will be 5,000 pounds is what it can safely lift, okay? Now, our last piece of equipment are these, okay? And if you're gonna be working on your car at all, okay, do not risk your life on one of these or one of those especially. Use these, guys. These are jack stands. You need to make sure you use them. What these do is this, once you get the vehicle up in the air, this will actually hold the vehicle for you, okay? Do not hold your vehicle in place with these. It's extremely dangerous. If they fail, if the little pins in them mess up or anything, and the car comes crashing down on you, it's not gonna be a slow process. Also during this, I would recommend having a pair of gloves. We didn't say it in our last video, but if you can, I would definitely keep a pair of gloves in the back of your car, just in case you have any kind of problems or anything like that. It's nice to have something, a good grip on it. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and go over here to the car and we'll get to start jacking up this vehicle. Okay, so before we actually start with the lifting part of the vehicle with all those tools over there, we actually need to be in here first, and there's an important reason why, okay? To make sure our vehicle doesn't move on us, we want to make sure we do two things. I want to make sure that the vehicle is in park, or if you have a stick shift or manual transmission, I would say put it in reverse or first gear, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put your parking brake on. For most people, it's going to be right here on the side. You're going to push that all the way to the floor, okay? You're going to make sure that that's good and on. It may be here on a side handle. You want to pull that all the way up, or maybe even down here. You don't see a whole lot of those, but you're going to want to set your parking brake. That way, once the vehicle is up in the air, the wheels don't move, and it's not going to come off your jack stands. So we're going to start with our scissor jack. This is the type of jack that came with our vehicle, so it's very important to know how to use this, okay? First and foremost, we've got our car in park, okay? I've got it with the parking brake on. It's not going to go anywhere. That being said, you still want to be careful, guys. Parts break all the time, and we don't want to risk our life just simply lifting a vehicle up. So this is our scissor jack. You'll notice this one has a notch right in here. That is to go on the frame rail, or the pinch of the frame rail, okay? So once I put this under here, I'm gonna be setting this in this notch. I'm gonna adjust this up like this, and then I'm gonna actually lift the car. So let's go ahead and do that. So while I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I'm not hitting any plastic body pieces, and I'm making sure that as the car will be lifted, that it's not going to be catching on anything, okay? Because if I start lifting on this and I just throw it up under here, I may not put it in the correct spot, and I could do some harm to the doors and the underbody of the car. Now that it's started, I can take this, hook it in nicely there, I'm gonna hold this flat, and I'm just gonna simply rotate this up, okay? This is pretty simple, and it's gonna give you a little bit of a workout. But as you guys can tell, it's a great, easy way to lift the car, okay? Now let's move on to the floor jack. All right, now we're gonna move on to the floor jack. This vehicle is definitely less than 5,000 pounds, so this 2.5 ton floor jack is gonna be more than enough of what we need. Now, on the floor jack, unlike the scissor jack, it's got a flat based round head, okay? So it's even more important that we're very careful where to put it, because this jack can lift up with quite a bit of force very quickly, and if it's on a body panel or anything like that, it could really do some damage, okay? So I'm gonna lay down, get to where I can see. Gonna slowly lower it up underneath the vehicle, guide it to those same frame rail points. And now that I'm there, all I have to do is come up, make sure that it's tightened down pretty good. You turn the whole handle to the right to make sure that it is locked, and that'll allow hydraulic pressure to build up. Now all I gotta do is easily push up on the handle. Push down on the handle. And it very easily lifts the vehicle. Floor jacks are very nice. If you're gonna be working on a lot of vehicles, they're a really great way to get some stuff done. Now that we've got that down on the air, I'm gonna show you how to let it down. Before you ever let a vehicle down, you always wanna make sure that there's nobody else underneath the vehicle, okay? So I'm gonna do a quick check. Everybody good? And I'm gonna slowly turn the handle to the left. And that's gonna very gradually let the vehicle down. I can change how fast it goes by how much I turn this handle. And we're good with our floor jack. Now let's move on to our floor jacks. So these floor jacks are rated for about 3 tons. So they are more than sufficient in order to hold this vehicle up. So what I'm gonna do is I've jacked the vehicle quite a bit up, and I don't wanna rely on the jack for when I'm up underneath the car working on it. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take my floor jack, I'm gonna find a good anchoring point to put this on, and I'm gonna slide it up underneath there, and all I have to do is lift this up and make sure that as I lower the jack here in a second, that it is going to safely and securely rest in that floor jack. So check this out. I'm gonna come over here now. I'm gonna slowly, that is very crucial, okay? Lower the vehicle down, all the while maintaining visual contact with that floor jack, okay? Making sure that it's in a good spot. So you guys see how the pressure is coming off the jack and how the back tire is now lifted in the air. I want to show you this. That floor jack is now what's holding it, okay? Now, before I ever crawl up under a vehicle, I always like to give it a good little shake. Nothing crazy, but I want to see if it's stable before I ever crawl up under a vehicle. That's it for today's lesson, guys. I hope you all learned something, and we're going to continue on doing a couple of automotive lessons here in the future. If there's a lesson in particular you would like to know how to do, give us a shout in the comments, and we'll make sure to cover it in the next few weeks. Thanks.